Everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, place of binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH. Plus, we got 30 wins in a row, and it's been a grind. Not uphill as far as, you know, the battling goes, but it's been a slight grind. SA8KLLPW. I'm going to tell you, this one doesn't look like much of a grind. 11 damage, and starting with Sacred Heart. I think we do better with Yum Heart. You know, this is why I like playing as Eden. It gives you tough choices sometimes. You know, you look at this and you say, what's better? When you got no utility item, what's better? Yum Heart or Notched Axe? Sorry, I'm recording early in the morning here, by my standards at least. A little dried out, a little phlegmy. Just a lot of talking this week. The downside of having a job where you talk a lot is that, I mean, this is true for just about everything on planet Earth. The more you use something, the less of it there is. You know, the more you drive, the less gas you got in your car, the more gas you're using. And it turns out you need a car to, you need gas to drive the car. The more you talk, the more your voice is like, I don't want to talk anymore. Takes a little bit to get the, we'll take the pill. We'll try the pill. We shouldn't have tried the pill, but it's not that bad. It just takes a little bit to get it going, especially early in the morning. I think I like metal plate enough to grab it. You guys ever realize metal plate and razor blade have the same amount of letters? What prompted this incredible linguistic revelation? I looked at metal plate and I almost said, sure, I'll take razor blade. That's what almost prompted that revelation. Anyway, I'm stoked. You know, I remember it was a couple of days ago that I recorded that last Isaac run, but here we are, remembering, look at us, that I suggested, man, come on now, wouldn't it be cool? I'm gonna try to get an arcade, by the way, because we have so many, like, arcade enablers. Wouldn't it be cool if we could have an easy run? Oh. I'm freaking out. Why was my bomb homing? Do I have homing bombs? No, Sacred Heart makes your bombs home. Dude, I didn't know that. Or I didn't remember it, at least. I remember on the last run, I was like, you know, after all these kind of, like, not spotty, but, like, somewhat spotty runs, it would be nice if we had one that was a little bit overpowered. And you can probably get slightly more overpowered than starting with Sacred Heart, but you can't, you know, you're asking for the moon in that situation. Oh, waiter, excuse me. My Wagyu beef isn't perfectly marbled. I have a conspiracy theory, and I don't harbor too many conspiracy theories. Most of the ones I do are much like this, incredibly mundane. But I want to hit you with this regardless. I will not order Kobe or Wagyu beef at a restaurant. Let me tell you why. It's expensive. That's the big one. And I you know, sometimes I don't mind paying for a great meal. However, I can't verify that this is Kobe or Wagyu. You know, I don't know Wagyu beef on site. I know it's got more marbling, but I wouldn't be confident. I'm not a beef expert, so I don't want to pay, like, you know, $33 an ounce for something where they could just be giving me, you know, reconstituted dog food. I'm not suggesting they would. It's a bad way to run a business, because if a beef expert came in there, they might be like, hey, this isn't Wagyu, you know, this is ground beef. And you know, they'd probably face some repercussions, but I also, I mean, if we're gonna get really into the mix here, I've got a conspiracy theory about Wagyu beef, pardon me, or Kobe beef for that matter. I am definitely not suggesting that it is not great, because I don't know if I've ever really had it. That would be an ignorant assumption for me. I think we're just gonna bounce, dude. This is I mean, we have a double bomb room, but we can't really get into it, so I think we're just gonna get out of here. I'm not suggesting that Kobe or Wagyu beef are a scam. All I'm suggesting is that sometimes you'll like go to a restaurant and it'll be like a TGI Fridays and they'll have like a Kobe beef item on the menu and you're like, I don't want to insult you, Mr. TGI Fridays, but I also just kind of feel like maybe your Wagyu beef isn't as good as the Wagyu beef that I would be expected, or expecting, I should say. You know what I mean by that? I feel like, you know, you're buying Wagyu beef from a supplier who's making, you know, 3,000 cows a day and, you know, freeze drying it immediately to ship it to America. I'm not sure if that's what I'm, it's like, you know, if you get sashimi grade fish or something like that, then you know, if you look at the distribution record and the supply chain, you're like, what the heck, this came from Saskatchewan? Saskatchewan is it's a part of Canada with no access to the ocean. That's I'm gonna explain the joke Canadian-wise for you there. Like when I go to a restaurant and it's like, you know, herb-crusted chicken breast, I'm like, it might not be the highest quality chicken breast, but you know, at least they're not calling it a Kobe chicken breast and asking me to. Basically, I don't trust them. That's what I guess. But the long and the short of this, if we're gonna stop belaboring this point, I get skeptical of stuff like that. Now, if I was, you know, in a great steakhouse in one of the, you know, big cities in Canada or the U.S., sure. If I was in a place that was highly regarded in Japan, sure. But when I'm at, like, you know, Tom's Restaurant in downtown Wichita Falls, Texas, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying can I get the seal of approval? There are, like, you can get Kobe and Wagyu, like, certificates that are, like, you know, almost make the meal a little bit too personal. This cow's name was Shiba. He loved eating grass and drinking that wine that we give them to make sure, you know, they give them wine to make sure that they're loving life. I mean, I will say, so the grocery store we go to sometimes has, like, I'll just be honest with you, it's too expensive for, like, probably 100% of Earth's population. But I like to walk by and look at the beef sometimes, and they'll be like, yo, there's, like, top sirloin steak is pretty expensive, but look at that, it's just like a red slab. And then they've got, like, this super vacuum sealed Kobe beef, and I will say the marbling looks very, very chef's kiss. Extremely chef's kiss. Hear me out here. I'm gonna buy a coupon, which will seem strange because we're trading something that does something. You know, yum hard. Pardon me, yum hard. We're trading something that does something for something that does nothing. However, in the future, we should get, I mean, it will pay for itself via the rest of our shops. Why not? But it'll also pay for itself if we get deals with the devil in the future. There's no guarantee we're gonna get deals with the angel, so we might as well accept that a deal with the devil is still pretty likely. And if we get one deal with the devil, we can get multiple deals with the devil, so it's, you know, it's all gravy right now. Yo, that's pretty good. One of the ways, I mean, we don't really need to start pulling on the thread to get the whole sweater to unravel on this run. This is really like just point your face in the right direction and keep crying. But we might want to consider not buying an item and instead buying keys. We can split the difference, actually. Start here. We got a key for free. I do think we get this to try to maybe get another item for free in the future. We got a spirit heart for free, and we can also buy those options. And we're going down to caves 2. We really do benefit from blood bags, so blood banks, I should say. So we'll move it on here. It's a great setup. This is a secret room, dude. I'm telling you, you play this game long enough, you too can appear to be psychic. But this is like, it feels great, but also like I haven't experienced a run like this in so long that I feel a little guilty. I'm like, come on, man, the people want to see me struggle. They want to see me suffer a little bit. It's just proof that, you know, it's not a natural state for human beings to be content, you know? You gotta work for it. When you're, you know, you got genuine stress in your life, you go, oh, when the stress is gone, I'm gonna be happy. When the stress is gone, you're happy for, like, you know, the blink of an eye. And then your brain is like, I'm bored. I want to be challenged. And you're like, no, this is how we got into this situation in the first place, brain. You got to remember, though, you know, and I'm not saying it's impossible to be happy. Quite the opposite. I think it's possible. You just got to put in some consistent effort and awareness, you know. But you got to remember, your brain's not trying to make you happy. At least this is perhaps a dangerous line of reasoning. I should preface this by saying I'm not a medical professional or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You know, I'm just spitballing for the most part here. Don't take it too seriously. But you know, I think your brain doesn't necessarily want you to be happy. Your brain wants you, you know, to survive. It grew up in a different area. Your brain really grew up in a pretty bad neighborhood. You know, violence and, you know, saber-toothed tiger attacks and, you know, scarce food and etc., you know? It was a hard life in humans' evolutionary history. And perhaps, you know, 50,000 years ago, 3,500 years ago even, you know, your brain was a little bit, I just don't think we want Bumfriend here, honestly. Your brain was less concerned with, you know, like, happiness, and it was more like, hey, if I create the feelings of anxiety that's gonna lead this human being... That was not a good use of a bomb, but we have unlimited bombs, thankfully. This human being is, you know, more likely to survive as a result. I think we're out of here. Don't risk it on your HP. That's just a foolish gambit. I don't even want Bumfriend. Get me out of here. So I think you gotta be aware of that stuff. It's like the same, like, the stuff that was good, or probably at least we can say advantageous, you know, back in, like, human evolutionary history is no longer advantageous. Your brain's natural, well, maybe not everybody's brain, but my brain's natural compulsion to eat even after you're no longer hungry no longer serves a great purpose. If anything, is substantially more harmful in a world of relative abundance than, look, I'm gonna try this, than it would be to have a more, you know, reasonable kind of cutoff, if you know what I mean. You know, I really almost think, I just want, like, one of the good items, please. I almost think, you know, like those movies where, like, a caveman is found frozen in Arctic ice, and then they, like, defrost them. And for some reason, they always defrost them in, like, the worst possible, like, most overstimulating environment. They're like, the caveman, he lived 35,000 years ago. He's used to living in a community with, you know, 75 people, all of which he knows. He doesn't speak a language in the way that we would consider it to be a language. It's mostly just a series of grunts. Where should we acclimate him to human society? Oh, I know, downtown Los Angeles. I don't even want to be in downtown Los Angeles. Or, like, you know, what about Manhattan? We'll, like, walk straight out of the anthropology lab and then cross 5th Avenue. The whole time he's going, her, 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 her. Tim Allen. Look it up, sweetheart. We should have really saved the coupon for that, huh? But I'm in my own head on this one. Don't even sweat it. Your brain is like that caveman. I mean, again, I'm not really a evolutionary biologist. I just have a bachelor's degree, which I will say is nothing. I also want to say we're getting close to, you know, that graduating period for people. If you haven't already had it, I guess it is like almost June at this point that I'm recording this. I don't mean to say, like, if you just got your bachelor's degree, or maybe you're heading to college, that, like, your bachelor's degree or what you're gonna spend the next 4 years working on is useless. I'm just saying, like, I think it's useful, but having a bachelor's degree in a general science does not make you an expert at that science. It really makes you, you know, I mean, at least this was my experience. The first 4 years of your scientific pursuits, come on, man, are really laying the foundation for you being able to pursue a career in that level of science or academia if that's something you want for yourself. You know, now there is a difference if you, you know, if you've got a 4-year degree in, you know, some kind of engineering. I think that qualifies you a little bit more for that field. But I'm speaking specifically about, like, you know, 4-year degree in chemistry, 4-year degree in physics, and especially, I'll admit, a 4-year degree in biology is perhaps the most general of the three. But really, you know, your brain is like, it adapts, I suppose, but it's, you know, some of the things that are locked in there, I feel, are from, you know, different points in human evolutionary history. I'm telling you, if we could ever, and this is dangerous, I don't want Elon to do it. There was probably 10 years ago, I would have signed up for the first, you know, pilot program for the Elon chips. I've seen what that dude tweets. I don't want him having access to my cerebral cortex. We need a better overseer. We need some kind of ombudsman to make sure that he's doing things right there. I'll do it because they home. And they're gonna be freaking huge, but you know, if you could just, like, slightly, you don't even have to, like, hack the human brain, but if you could just change, like, little parts of it to respond to the modern environment. Like, hey, brain, instead of having, such, and you can do this behaviorally, I'm not saying there's nothing you could do, dude, but, it's harder, you know? If you could just program it into the human brain, just rewrite it and be like, you know, you see this line of, like, you know, brain code, where it's, like, high-fat, salty foods are what the brain wants, because historically those were, like, you know, really nutrient dense or calorie dense foods. And of course, I'm not suggesting the whole world lives in a world of abundance where food is always, you know, readily available, even within, like, a first world country. But, you know, for the most part, for the average person watching this video, if you could just rewire that and be like, you know what, now your brain craves, like, wait, well, let me put it this way. Your brain now doesn't crave sugar as much. You don't even have to change it to be like, it only wants celery. You could just be like, you know what? After, like, 2 sips of Mountain Dew, your brain goes like, I don't want any more of this. It tastes like toothpaste now. That would go a long way, I think. But not Elon, dude. I don't get me wrong. You know that the Tesla seems like a fantastic automobile, but if Elon uses it on himself, and then, like, after 5 years, I might consider. When I have a track record of his behavior to look upon. We'll talk about the brain chip. I'm just worried, and I've had this bit. It's been a long time since I've said this bit, but I still believe in it. Like, operational security for technological stuff is so bad. You know, like, every 2 months, a big company is like, oh, whoopsie-doopsie, we leaked all your personal data, my mistake. I'm waiting for that to happen with, like, you know, the nanotechnology you can imprint on your own brain to, like, make you do math slightly faster. And they're like, whoopsie-doopsie, all your hopes and dreams have been leaked to the dark web. You know that weird dream you keep having where, like, you know, Sigourney Weaver's wearing stiletto heels and she steps on your neck? Everybody knows about it now. That's not my recurring nightmare / fantasy. You already know my recurring nightmare is, being on the airplane to go teach English in South Korea again. For whatever reasons, just locked deep in my psyche, and we'll never be free from those clutches. Anyway, this is we've clearly been storing up some banter. I told you after a little bit of talking, the voice would get there. It is. I'll just be honest with you. Thursdays are like those are the big recording days and streaming days, and they also, like, you know, this comes after a long Tuesday and what was a long Wednesday. Monday was whatever. You know, look, today's Thursday. That's the genesis of this bit. And anecdotally, what's going on in my life? Still pretty pardon me, pretty locked down over here. Things, have officially many things, including like retail stores that take precautions, can open up. But anecdotally, it seems like most of them have not. And I'm not complaining. You know, I think it's the responsibility of the staff and the... I was gonna say the owner, but really like the staff. I don't want... This is like by definition gonna be... I suppose like a little political, for sure. But it's coming from a place of like openness and like, you know, opening a dialogue and wanting to learn and be taught. But I like, you know, if the business owner wants to open their business, that's one thing. But, you know, if the staff who are maybe being compensated at or close to minimum wage are like, I don't really want to risk it, I could totally understand that as well. I can for sure understand that side of things. And, you know, the business owner is welcome to step in and handle some more of the hands-on operation stuff themselves in that situation, I suppose. Sadly, we don't want any of these. Hello.
Hello.
You're going. Oh, I know. Okay. Love you. It's a scary message to hear with no context. I'm leaving. So you're going. I know where she's going. She'll be back. Anyway. So it's like, you know, coming close to the end of May. It's a month that ended up pretty much just being like March the 3rd. Not the day, but like, you know, the 3rd iteration. And again, it's fine, you know. It is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. Still not sure if my gym will be open on the 1st, but, you know, I'm doing what I encourage everyone else to do, defaulting to the wisdom of the public health officials. You know, if our public health officials release the data and say, hey, you can return to some semblance of normalcy while also, you know, like wearing a mask and maintaining social distancing as best as is possible, and we'll keep you posted on, like, you know, whether that changes in the future. That's my philosophy is, I listen to them. I listen to them when they told me bad news. I'm gonna listen to them when they tell me good news too. But we'll see. I'm skeptical that it'll even be open on June 1st. Cause like, you know, coffee shops are still not really open. So a building where you basically just sweat surrounded by other people and like breathe really, really heavily. I'm a little skeptical. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying I have a slight degree of skepticism surrounding this, but we'll see. We'll see. But apart from that, it's a very anecdoteless existence as is usual. And really, like, I'm gonna look back on this period, you know, and that's not to say we're through it yet, because, you know, who knows. But I'm gonna look back on this Isaac period of complete bereftness of anecdotes as a golden age. You know, I can draw a lot of strength from this. If we could make it through quarantine, making an episode every single day of a series where I talk about what's going on in my life and also occasionally the game, but, you know, there's nothing going on in my life because, well, I mean, that's not... On a macro level, that is false. You know, we're having a baby this year. But on, like, a micro level, day to day, they're blurring together quite a lot right now. If it can survive and even, like, thrive in this situation, then man, oh man, nothing can kill it. You could lock me inside of a cell, a 6x3 cell, with just a desk and a microphone, and I could keep this thing going. Hold on. Papula Duplex, number 2, Lil Loki. Papula Duplex was really the only one I looked at there as being kind of interesting. And I gotta level with you, I did a lot of the little things wrong on this run. Like, I didn't use coupon basically at all, even though we were just on a deal with the devil, so, like, why wouldn't you just press the spacebar in there? This is a dangerously sloppy run. It's not dangerous for this run, because we started with Sacred Heart and we have 33 damage. But it is potentially dangerous for breeding habits that'll be bad for us in the future. But I think that, you know, for our first run of the morning, it's fine. We'll just, you know, hopefully rise to the occasion next time. Don't even... Get out of here, dude. Are you crazy? I just walked over here. Okay. This is where I now go. You know what I'm going to say. There is still a loss lurking within this run, so just be careful. We would have to really screw up. That's 100% true. But it's not inconceivable that we run into trouble here. Just because I was flipping with HP a little bit. But we should be set. I mean, I'm, like, not being sarcastic at all when I say, like, that's what's going on. Is nothing. I haven't even been to the grocery store. Like, I go to the grocery store, like, once a week. I go to the grocery store. I buy, like, the same 10 items. I leave, and I go home. And the only other times I leave my house throughout the week right now are if we have a doctor's appointment. And, if we, like, I'll do a little gardening. Really, like, I don't even do the gardening. Kate does, like, at least 80% of the gardening. Sometimes she'll be like, I gotta pour some soil. And I'm like, oh, hey, you cannot. You got my daughter in there. I'll pour the soil. Yo, that was synchronicity. As long as you don't beam me, we're okay, dude. We will not suffer on this run. So there's just a lot of hanging out inside. And, like, really, I'm not even, like, watching more stuff. I'm just, like, working more. It's okay, you know? Like, it's going well, don't get me wrong. But, like, from an anecdote standpoint, you know, what do you want me to say? Yesterday, I worked out at home, and then I started work at, like, you know, 10:30. And I worked from 10:30 to 8. I cooked dinner until 9, 8 until 9:30, and then, you know, set my videos, which actually took till like 11, because I was setting a bunch of VODs as well in bulk. And then, you know, at 11, I, like, drank a cup of tea and just sat on the couch with Kate for a bit. Then I went to bed at, like, 12:10, you know? Could have done something in that hour, but, like, to, you know, just to generate anecdotes for Isaac. That's not a typical day, I should say. I'm not trying to create a situation where, like, you know, oh, woe is me. It's a privilege to be here. However, you know, it just goes to say I'm not holding any anecdotes back. I'm like, I'm giving you everything I got. You're getting a window into my life. It's just that, you know, you're looking out the window at like an empty field. But on the horizon, there's an anecdote maelstrom. Anyway, that was a good win. Very easy. 31 in a row. Feels nice. We're about halfway to where we were on the previous streak already. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. I'm going to assume you enjoyed it. You watched all 28 minutes and 18 seconds. If you did, click the like button. Single best way to help me out, especially if you're a long-term viewer. You're like, I'm already subscribed. It's true, and I appreciate it. But if you click that button when you enjoy the episodes, it helps give a little algorithmic injection to the series. YouTube goes, hey, this is a good video. I'm going to recommend it to a few more people. A percentage of those people watch the video. A percentage of the people that watch the video enjoy the video and stick around, and it allows us to keep our thriving community. So please do click the like button if you enjoyed the episode. Apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll be in the comments, and I'll see you next time. See ya!